Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. And we've got an interesting setup for you today. I like to call this Maximum Moxfield. So as you know, I like to take my decks and pit them against themselves and play them by myself to find their weaknesses, see if I can find ways to strengthen the decks. That's how the Unskilled Commander got started. I've been posting a lot more games with other people from my charity streams, of course. But whenever I have 4 brand new decks, I like to still do this where I pit them against themselves. But because I had to take down my setup, blah, 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 you don't care. The point is I decided to try this where I have these decks in my Moxfield. These are the actual decks that I have in paper. But I'm using Moxfield to do the battling. As you can see from the setup, it's, the cards may be a little small for you, but I'm going to try and, show them. But also I have the life totals up. Those should be nice and clear so you can see who's winning and who's losing. They are, of course, attached to the decks they are. So you can see the 35 is the one above it, the 39 is below, 39 is above, 36 is below. And this is all turtles. I really love the Turtles set. It was so much fun to open, and it was so many fun cards. And being a big Turtles fan, I loved all the deep cuts from it. And I ended up making quite a few decks from it. As normal with this setup, I've taken the first 4 turns to just kind of get the play a land passes out of the way. I have a couple of cards played. We will get to them as I go through each of the decks in turn order. So we are going to start turn 5 here on our first deck. And it is Michelangelo and Donatello, the partners deck. So Donatello the brains, Michelangelo the heart. We were able to play a bunch of lands, obviously. I played the Ozolith, which, of course, whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move them to a creature. Turn 2, I was able to get Michelangelo out. He's a 2/1 with trample. At the beginning of your second main phase, if you attack this turn, put a counter on target creature you control, a +1/+1 counter, and create a food token. Turn 3, I was able to play Donatello the Brains. He's a 2/4 that says if 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a mutagen token are created instead. And on turn 2, I was able to swing out with a 2/1, hitting the Slash deck for 2 commander, thereby triggering the effects, putting a counter, making a food, making a mutagen. And then on turn 4 is when I actually played the Ozolith and Anduril Narsil Reforged. That is an equipment. I did not have enough mana to actually equip it to anybody yet, but it says, whenever equipped creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. If you have the city's blessing, put 2 counters on those creatures instead, and you have the city's blessing if you control 10 or more permanents. Well, that's dead. If you have 10 or more permanents, you have the city's blessing. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only have 8 permanents. Well, I suppose the food tokens might count, but they are artifact tokens, and I guess they're permanents. So yeah, I guess we do have, because that would be 11 total permanents with the mutagen and the food. And of course, on turn 4, we were able to swing out at someone else, dealing, 4 damage, because I cracked the 1 treasure, or the 1 mutagen that I had earned. Connecting, getting another counter on Michelangelo, making him a 5/4, and making a second food and 1 more mutagen. So now here we are in turn 5. We untap, upkeep, draw. I'm going to tap 3 and equip Anduril to Michelangelo, of course. I will play, well, because I don't have any 2-drops, I'm going to play a Terramorphic Expanse, getting a Forest. They'll come on the battlefield tapped, and I have 1 mana left, which I will then tap and use the mutagen. We'll just put this out of the way to put a counter on Michelangelo. As you can see already, Michelangelo is getting pretty big, and the other decks are a little slower. One of the other decks, the Slash deck, which we will get to, had a mostly land hand, and I kept it. I'm like, well, let's see what this does. So no one has any destruction spells yet, I don't believe, so we need someone to destroy Michelangelo or bounce him or something, otherwise this is going to be a relatively quick game. But I say that a lot of times, and then something happens, and it's not a quick game, so we'll see. We're going to move to combat. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11. So we have 11 things, so we have the blessing. We're going to swing Michelangelo. When you attack, you put 2 counters on every creature you control, which is great. So Michelangelo is now an 8/7. 2 of the decks are wide open, but the deck that's not wide open does have a death touch as well, so we definitely don't want to swing in that direction just yet. So Michelangelo is going to swing at the 5-color Turtles deck for 8 commander. Right, and that actually does put the 5-color Turtles deck at 10 Michelangelo Commander damage already. So with Michelangelo getting bigger, he might be able to just take them out completely if they're not able to get some other creatures to block with or do something to get rid of Michelangelo. He connected, so he's going to get a counter. Now, I could put that counter on any of the creatures I have. I could put it on Donatello, but obviously Mikey's the one swinging. So I put it on there, I make another food token, and I make another mutagen token. That's all we can do. We're going to pass turn. This is my Saventi Romero times Exile deck. So all I was really able to do here was play a bunch of lands, play a Bonder's Ornament, and then get out Vampire Nighthawk, a 2/3 flying Death Touch lifelink. Lifelink's super important in this deck because of the damage that you take from the commander itself. Going to turn 5, we're going to go ahead and play a Swamp for turn. Okay, so we should be able to do this. We're going to do 1, 2... Well, here's the thing. Wait a second. Michelangelo hasn't been coming at this deck because we've got the Death Touch blocker. So there's no real reason for us to take Michelangelo out and just help out the other decks. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and play my commander. He is a 4/4 with trample. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a counter on him, then draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of counters on him. But with my last 2 mana, I will also play Super Shredder. That is a 1/1 with menace, but whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Super Shredder. And that's anything. So anytime Michelangelo cracks a mutagen or a food token, Shredder's going to get bigger. So we move to the beginning of combat. Now, Saventi doesn't have any kind of haste or anything, so he's going to get a counter, which means we draw a card and we lose a life. I don't have any open mana. I could do this, but that Death Touch is very important as a deterrent, so we're going to leave that and pass turn. We now come over here to... We're going to come over here to my Slash deck, Reptile Rampager. Then we come over here to turn 5 on my Slash deck. Wow, we're just getting nothing but lands right now, which is really, really unfortunate. All I was able to do is play 4 lands, 1 per turn, and I did play Urbrask's Forge, so that at the beginning of combat on your turn, put an oil counter on Urbrask's Forge, then make an X1 red Phyrexian horror creature with trample and haste, where X is the number of counters on it. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So it currently is a 2, so it makes a 2/1 with haste and trample, but then it gets destroyed at the end of the turn. So we're going to go ahead and put a mountain out, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Slash Reptile Rampager, a 7/5 that whenever another creature you control enters, Slash deals 2 damage to each opponent. Whenever Slash attacks, make a 2/2 red mutant creature token. That is important. So now we're going to move to combat. The Forge is going to get another counter, and then we're going to make a 3/1 Phyrexian Horror with trample and haste, which means my opponents each take 2 damage. I don't really have to send it anywhere because it's only a 3/1, and at this point nothing's really going to get through. I mean, I can send it over at the 5-color deck, but that is the lowest life total anyway, and there's no point in really... Well, I suppose at this point in the game already, with Michelangelo getting so big, probably wouldn't be a bad idea. So, and it's going to go away no matter what we do, so we might as well swing it, actually. So I will, in fact, hit the 5-color deck for 3 damage. 1, 2, 3, and he's like, "Hey, what the hell, man? Why you hitting me?" And it's like, well, sorry, but get good. So then, oh, dang it. So then, that's all we can do on Slash's turn. The token goes away, and we pass over to TMNT. Okay, stop that. Stop. So going to turn 5, over here. We untap, we upkeep, we draw. We play a Rootbound Crag. So up until now, sorry, we were able to just get enough lands out in the right color combinations. Plus we had a Soul Ring, so we were able to play our commander, Heroes in the Half Shell. So it's a 5/5 with Vigilance, Menace, Trample, and Haste. Whenever 1 or more mutants, ninjas, and or turtles you control deal combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures and draw a card. So that's what we did last turn. We swung at Michelangelo because they hit us, and we were able to put a counter on them. So now Heroes in a Half Shell are 6/6. Play that Rootbound Crag, and now let's see. It's not much, but it's probably something that we need to do. So we're gonna go and tap 2 red, and then 1, 2, and what is this over here? We'll do that for 3. You play the enchantment, All Will Be One. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, this enchantment deals that much damage to target opponent, creature an opponent controls, or planeswalker an opponent controls. It's not super vital, and it's not super tuned for the deck. It's just a really cool card, plus it's the Last Ronin artwork, so of course I put it in. And the problem with the Heroes in the Half Shell deck is it is a 5-color deck similar to the Cosmic Spider-Man deck from Spider's set. It's not as strictly Turtles cards as the Spider-Man, Cosmic Spider-Man deck is, but I still tried to build it with like as many of the Turtles as I could and their allies, and then cards like this that were from the set. So it's not optimized. All will be one should be in a deck that's like constant counters from everything, but this deck does do a lot of counters because the Turtle cards in general do deal with a lot of counters. We have 3 mana left, but I do actually have the right colors. So we will do red, green, and blue to do another enchantment. Rhythm of the Wild with the Turtles artwork. Creature spells you control can't be countered, which is good. Non-token creatures you control have Riot, which means they either enter with haste or a +1/+1 counter. Now, obviously, combined with all we won, that's a lot of little ping damage, hopefully. But unfortunately, I don't really have any other creatures in my hand. I have one, so and no draw spells, so it's going to be problematic. I could swing the Heroes in a Half Shell at somebody, but it's not really going to get through, and there's no, that would just leave us open. So unfortunately, we're going to have to go ahead and pass. That'll bring us back around to Michelangelo's team for the turn 6. I will play Hinterland Harbor. It does come in untapped because I have a forest or an island. I have both. Okay, now this could be cool here. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't have enough if I do that. Oh, man. Do I wait for the next turn? I think we wait for the next turn. You know what? Screw it. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and play Bonder's Ornament. One of my pet card. You know, just taps for mana, and you can also pay 4 and tap it to draw a card. But then I'm going to pay 3 and play Cultivate to get 2 basic land cards, reveal them, put one on the battlefield tapped to the other to your hand. So I will put an island in my hand, a forest on the battlefield tapped. Now, I don't have enough mana to use to crack one of the mutagens now. Or the only mutagen I have. Or I do. My Bonder's Ornament. See there? Thinking ahead. Crack the Bonder's Ornament or tap it to get rid of that mutagen, putting an extra counter on Michelangelo. And Michelangelo does have trample, so this could get very dicey for Heroes in the Half Shell. The question is, do we want to go after them and just take them out? I mean, they're not doing much, although those 2 enchantments could start to be a problem. Depending on what cards they were to draw. And let's be honest, you know, we don't want to drag the game out. And also, when you start to have an advantage, you do want to start to eliminate your opponents because that's less you have to worry about. So we will be going to combat, of course. I will swing Michelangelo at the Heroes in the Half Shell deck. It will activate the equipment, so each creature gets 2 counters on it. And so now it is a 12/11 coming at you. And you already have 10 commander damage. Now you have to block. If you don't block, you die. But if you block, you're going to lose your commander. But at least you'll only take 6 commander damage. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to block with that. And can I put counters on? No, I can't put counters on. But 6 damage gets through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is 6 more commander. So Michelangelo should definitely be able to take them out next turn, you know, even if they bring the commander back out or get another creature or something. So second main phase, we attacked. We're going to put another counter on Michelangelo. We're going to get another food, and we make that mutagen. That's all we can do there. We're going to pass turn over to Romero. All right, turn 6, untap, upkeep, draw. The one thing I do like about, well, I like a lot about stuff about Moxfield, but doing it this way is nice because I actually get to see the turn count, and so do you. So now, as opposed to other games I played the past by myself, now we're really knowing exactly what turns these decks are popping off or not popping off, or like when they're eliminating each other. And as always, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Go check out my other socials. It's really important if I, you know, to me and to my charity streams, if I can get more followers across the board so that more people know when I'm doing those charity streams, which is the whole main reason for the Unskilled Commander. I am going to tap 3 for Decanter of Endless Water, which is very important for the no maximum hand size because this deck definitely gets out of hand quickly with the card draw, and we don't want to just throw that away. I'm going to tap 2 and play Sovereign's Bite. Target player loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life. 1, 2, 3. And I will take that 3 off of Slash because he's going to be pinging us very quickly. So we want that. We want him to be low as well. Now we move to the beginning of combat. I'm going to get a counter. I'm going to lose 2 life because I have 2 counters on him and then draw 2 cards. Okay, that's good. I got a land, at least for second main phase. Now he's a 6/6 with trample, and that's pretty good. However, the only one I could attack would be the 5 color, and at this point, that's not a concern. Like, it's very clear that Michelangelo will probably finish them off. They don't have to. I mean, they could be like, okay, that's enough. I'm going to go after somebody else now. And it kind of sucks to not use a trample commander that's buffing itself, but he's not big enough yet. He's not going up quick enough. So we're just going to go ahead and let that go. However, first and foremost, we did crack a treasure, which means, not a treasure, a mutagen. So the Super Shredder does get a counter, so it's now 2/2 with Menace. But I will move to second main phase. I will play the land for turn. I have some good cards, but they're all like reactionary instants and stuff like that to help protect my commander a little bit. So there's no real point in using them. I have 4 mana. Yeah, nothing to do. So I'm going to go ahead and pass. Down to Slash. So Slash, turn 6. Oops, shit. Hit that too fast, so I went to turn 7, so I'm going to have to be cognizant of that. So we're going to play a mountain for turn 6. Unfortunately, I can't reverse it. At least I don't think you can. But what I will do is tap 1, 2, and 3 to play Hordling Outburst. Create 3 1/1 goblin creature tokens, and Slash is then going to hit everybody for 6 damage, because 2 for each of those creatures coming in. Then I'm going to tap 1 and play Kellen Planar Trailblazer. He's a 2/1, and he's got a bunch of effects that, like, you pay mana into him, and he can become bigger and bigger. Honestly, I kind of tossed him in here because I had the full art, which looks cool, and he's a 1-drop creature, because obviously this is about creatures entering. I just want as many creatures entering as possible, so Slash can ping everybody to death. So that's what's going to happen. Everyone's going to take another 2. There's nothing I can do with 2 mana. I could swing Slash, who is a 7/5, but no other keywords, because why would he? My god, he's got decent enough abilities as it is. To make another creature enter, but that's not really a concern right now. We're going to let that go, because moving to the beginning of combat, Urbrass Forge gets a counter, makes a 4/1, everybody gets pinged for 2. A 4/1 with trample, do I bother sending it anywhere? Well, again, we've already discussed that, and the point is, yes, because there's no point in not sending. Even if it's going to get destroyed, it doesn't matter. It's going to be destroyed at the end of the turn anyway. So yeah, swing it somewhere. We actually have the biggest life total, so I will swing it over at Romero's deck. We could block it with a Death Touch or Shredder, but why? I mean, we don't want to take the damage and lower ourselves, but like losing the Death Touch just to get rid of something that's going to die anyway, it is a feel bad. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll take the damage, just how it is. And then that is everything there. So I have to remember to not hit the next turn over there, because we already drew the card. We're going to pass turn over to the 5-color deck. To turn 6, I will play a Plains for turn. We have just enough mana to recast the commander, which does have haste, but unfortunately, I think I'd rather get some other stuff out. So we're going to tap for 2, a blue, and then 1 other to play Donatello, Turtle Techie. 3/4, when Donatello enters, if you control an artifact, draw a card. I do, because I have a Soul Ring. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana left. Now, what is this one? That's actually a pretty good one to have. So we're going to go 2 red, and then 2 others to play Raphael, the Night Watcher. Really good card. 2, 3, attacking creatures you control have double strike. However, they do. So I could give them both haste if I wanted to, but I'm going to give them a counter off of the Riot, which means all will be 1 will ping someone for 2. We're, of course, going to ping the Michelangelo deck for 2. Not too much of a crackback. We're down at 10. There's just probably no way we can survive. And especially, even if we survive, Michelangelo is pretty much going to win the game, most likely, because of what was drawn on the accidental extra turn, which we'll see in a couple minutes here. So strap in for that thrilling conclusion to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Maximum Moxfield. But yeah, there's nothing else we can do. We did the pings. We're just going to have to pass turn, unfortunately. And come back around to the TURTL Power deck, as I like to call it in Moxfield. We are going to untap for turn 7. I will play an island for turn 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Mechanized Production onto the food. So Mechanized Production is an enchantment aura. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, you win the game. Unfortunately, I don't have anything else that makes more foods. I do in the deck, I just don't have any right now. But we're going to go to combat, because why wouldn't we? Well, how much mana do we have? We've got... Yeah, so we're definitely going to tap 1 to crack this, which will give Shredder another counter. But we're going to put a counter on Michelangelo, of course. That leaves me with 4 mana. I don't know that it really matters at this point. But you know what? We don't know what other people have. We got to play that way. So tapping 3 to play Donatello's Technique. Draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Okay. I don't have enough mana to play anything right now, but that's good for the future, possibly. We're going to swing with Michelangelo. It's going to trigger the sword, so we're going to get 2 counters on each of my creatures. He is a 16/15. Now, well, before you attack, actually, but we need to figure out, like, who are we truly going after? Are we just going to finish the job on the 5-color turtles, or do we want to swing towards someone else? We still really can't swing at the mono black deck because they have the death touch. We need to, if we're going to swing with Michelangelo, he needs to be above lethal commander damage by a decent amount, so that even if they block with the death touch, lethal commander gets through, because we will lose our commander in the process. So that kind of puts that off the threat list for right now. So we can just definitely get rid of the 5-color commander deck, or we could go after mono red Slash, who is pinging us for quite a bit now. However, it's one of those things where it's like, well, you know what? You started to hurt us. Like, you did quite a bit of damage last turn. You hit everybody for, like, what was it, 8 damage? Like 3, 4, yeah. Like, yeah, 8 damage was hit to each person last time. So you hit us for 8 damage in 1 turn. That's a decent amount. I should probably swing at you and force you to block with some of those creatures and get rid of them. However, if I do that, there's no telling what 5-color commander deck could pull out, especially now that they have attacking creatures they control have double strike. And they have All Will Be One, and they have the Rhythm of the Wild and stuff. And finally, what you learn as you play decks that are commander damage focused, you really do need to just stick with one person. Spreading it around in the beginning of a game is great, and this technically is the beginning of the game. It's only turn 6, or turn 7 now for a starting player. But basically, you want to just focus on one person, take him out, and then focus on the next person, take him out. Spreading it around just leaves you wide open to get ganked. So Michelangelo is going to swing at the 5-color deck with 16 trample commander damage. They have 9 toughness to block over their 2 creatures, which means 7 damage would get through. That puts them at 23 commander damage. So unfortunately, boom, they are donezo. We connected, so we're going to put a counter on. We're going to make another food token, and we're going to get that mutagen back again. Then we pass turn. Now, unfortunately, Romero is a really fun deck, but it's just not, it's compared to Michelangelo and Donatello, that is just a really fast build. It's semi-unfair. Again, I still don't think they're going to win, though. But the point being, the mono black deck is really fun to play. I really enjoy this deck, but it's just not getting the chance to shine like it should. So we do that we go to turn 7. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and play Sinister Monolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Again, I have some cool cards, but basically the cards I have, either they're instants that give target creature indestructible or hexproof or something, so they're designed to protect Romero when someone tries to get rid of it. And some of them even go, like, give a counter on this, put a +1/+1 counter, and give it lifelink, which I guess I should probably do at this point. Just because, well, I don't know. Like, again, you have to play it. The difficult part of playing all 4 is that I gotta pretend I don't know what's in everybody else's hands. But again, it's not that big of a stretch because, like I said, mono red just did 8 damage to each individual person last turn. They could theoretically do something similar, so people are getting low on life. So we do want to swing out and gain some life. So we will tap 2 and play a sorcery, plus we have to play it now anyway. Put 2 counters on target creature. It gains lifelink until end of turn. 1, 2, and now it has lifelink. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. So then we move to combat. It gets another counter. So now it's gonna be 9 commander damage with trample and lifelink, but we're gonna take 5 first of all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards drawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage taken. I am at the beginning of combat, so the only thing I could do would be instances right now anyway, so it's fine. So we're gonna have to swing that 9 damage somewhere. And mono red is the biggest, well, it's not the biggest threat by any means. Michelangelo is the biggest threat, but they still have the highest life total. So going after Michelangelo would make, would theoretically elicit the crackback. Oh, you're coming at me? Okay, but go after the highest life total. That might entice the Michelangelo player to swing into them as well, to try and, because, oh, it's yeah, you're a threat, Michelangelo, but this guy's handling us both. Let's team up against, my enemy's enemy is my friend. That kind of bullshit. So we've got a 9/9 trample commander coming at you. Oop, this is gone. You don't really need to stack block because first of all, you can't like 3, 4, 5. You would have to block with everybody, and I'm definitely not blocking with Slash. So we'll just toss Kellen under there. Well, at the same time, that's only going to stop 1 damage. I don't think it matters. We'll probably be like, you know what? I'll take the full 9. Down to 24 and 9 Ramiro damage. That's a pretty hefty bit. But then we get to gain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 27. That puts us in a really good spot because now it's like, okay, Michelangelo's still a threat, but we got 27 life. You know, we're doing better. Oh, and at the beginning of combat, sorry, each opponent loses life and I gain life. So I'm at 27, Slash is at 23, and they are at, Michelangelo is at, and Donnie are at 20. Second main phase, we could do some stuff. I played a land, unfortunately, already, so, and there's just not enough mana to play. I have 3 open mana, I need 4 to play the 2 spells in my hand. Thankfully, I have Decanter of Endless Water, because I have 10 cards, but I don't have to discard down. We're going to pass to Slash. So now, we're just going to manually untap these because this is turn 7. We draw the card that we already accidentally drew. We play a mountain for turn, and now the thing is, this doesn't necessarily mean a win, actually, but because we don't have any other creatures in our hand. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fiery Emancipation. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage to that permanent or player. So we're going to move to the beginning of combat. We put a counter on the old forge, and we make a 5/1 Phyrexian Horror. When that enters, is going to deal 6 damage to everybody. And see, now, the only way to get... And that's the problem. See, I want to swing with Slash. Well, I guess nope, can't, because if I swing with Slash, he makes a mutant, which would do another 6 damage. That's awesome, except he gets killed, because, you know, if I swing at the mono black deck, they block with the Death Toucher and kill it, and if I swing over at Michelangelo, Donatello is now an 8/10, he can kill it. Yeah, that's very, very... we're going to get rid of this now, just because it goes away at the end of combat. Well, that's true too. I mean, so I guess I should take that into consideration. So we have a 5/1 swinging, and we have a 7/5, which is 12 damage. Now, theoretically, if I swung both of those at Michelangelo, those 12 damage plus the extra 6 from that could theoretically take them out if they didn't block with Donatello, which they would. So they would take the 5 and then the 6, which would be 12, and they'd be down to 2 life, but it would be their turn. But they'd be at 2 life. I mean, and then it's another thing, like, am I king making if I do that? Because then they can't take out both characters. They can't take out Slash and Ramiro. They would have to have Michelangelo go at Slash, most likely, and then Ramiro would just finish him off. Because he would have trample, and he could probably get the trample up high enough to get past Donatello's 10 toughness, although it would be 12 at that point, so maybe that wouldn't be as easy to get through. But that's a bunch of math that, you know, who's going to be doing that math? You know what I mean? I'm doing it because I'm playing all the characters. Slash wouldn't be trying to figure that out. And in any case, Slash would still be dead. So, because he would have 3 1/1s to defend with, or 3 1/1s and a 2/1 against a 17/16, which would easily become a 20-something. 2019 most likely, by the time swinging back. However, I don't think he can even stop it anyway. So there's your next concern, right? There's nothing that Slash can do to survive Michelangelo swinging in at him. So I guess the best... so I guess you go out swinging. I guess you go out fighting. We're going to swing both of these creatures at the Michelangelo deck. When we do that, we are going to make a 2/2 mutant. When that mutant enters, Slash is going to hit everybody for 6. Donatello is going to block Slash and kill it, and he'll take the 5. All right, so he's on the 3 life. We have some blockers over here, but not nearly enough toughness to deal it. Although, wait a second. Oh shit, I forgot. Yeah, wait a second. I'm thinking of it in terms of the ping damage, but Fire Emancipation just says damage, period. So that means the 5/1 would actually deal 15 damage when it connected against Michelangelo. So there you go. That is the smart move, was swinging at both of them. Or swinging both creatures at Michelangelo, rather. So there you go. Glad I realized that and didn't look the fool. And that also means that Slash would have destroyed Donatello, because that would have been 7 times 3, so 21 damage hitting a 10 toughness. So yeah, very cool. So this deck is taken out here. Whatever. And we are down to 2. So we pass turn, and we're in a fairly decent spot, theoretically. But they have a death touch, they have a lifelinker. We need to draw creatures or else we're screwed. So over here for turn 8, well, we're just gonna Evolving Wilds into a swamp. Go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Thran Dynamo, and Bonder's Ornament to play Foot Mystic. When this creature enters, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, create a 1/1 black creature. Ninja creature, it did not. But let's see about Shredder. Whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, so Slash left the battlefield, and I mean, I guess technically Donatello did when it got hit. When Slash and Donatello hit each other, because there was no first strike. It was just 12. It was just 21 damage and 8 damage either way. They still took each other out. So I think that would get a counter for that. And I may have missed like something else being sacrificed somewhere or leaving the battlefield at least. But oh right, these tokens every time they leave, whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield. So yeah, he probably has. We'll just give him 2 more counters. So he's a 7/7 right now with Menace. So there you go. That's pretty big. We have 3 mana, and we don't have enough mana for that. We have 4 left. I can't do that. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that gives the lifelink anymore, because I tried to make this with a lot of stuff that would, give, instances and sorceries that say, hey, target creature gets lifelink till end of turn, or equipment that gives it to it. And I'm just not hitting it except for that one. So that's kind of bad. Actually, it's very bad. We're going to move to combat. So first off, this is going to deal 1 damage, and we're going to gain 1. Then I'm going to put a counter on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to lose 6. Down to 11. Oh, I got Whip of Erebos, but it's too late to play it. And I have the 4 mana for it, too. It's too late to play it. He does have Trample, but he's at 22 life, and it's like, do you bother? Because he's a 10/10 right now with Trample. 6 of it would get through if he stacked block, or no. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 4 of it would get through if he stacked block with everything. And he couldn't even kill it, even if he did stack block, so not necessarily the most important. But again, Slash does not have haste, so as of right now, the only thing that's going to, if we play Slash again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we just barely have enough mana to play Slash again, and that's it. So then we have to wait for the Forge to kick out a creature, which would only deal 6 to them. I don't know that it's enough, but we could swing with everything. So let's see. All right. So that's the thing. If they could swing with everything, the 6 damage paying plus all of the creatures swinging in could theoretically be enough to kill them. Maybe. We do have some blockers. We have quite a few blockers, but we're gonna go for it. We're gonna swing a 10/10 trample at you, taking 10 to the face without block. But like we got 1/1s and 2/1s and 2/2s. Throwing any of them in front of it is kind of useless. Oh, I take 9 damage instead of 10. What's the difference? So, yeah, we'll go down to 12. And that is Commander. Oh, wait a second. It's just 10. Ooh, okay, yeah. So we are at 19 Romero Commander damage at Slash. So Slash has got to figure something else out, although I don't see what. But yeah, we take that. I could try and swing it with Super Shredder. I could have tried to swing with that, forcing him to use 2 of the little guys to have less things to attack me with. But I don't know. But if I did that, there would only be 2 blockers. Well, yeah, I don't know. Or no, because I don't know if that would be enough. That wouldn't be enough. So we're kind of screwed. So that's all we can do. We pass turn over to here. Turn 8. We're going to play a land for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus the commander tax to replay Slash. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting about Emancipation affecting everything. So I think we're good. And even if we had swung with Super Shredder, I still don't think they would survive. So I don't think that was a misplay necessarily, because I would have just blocked with the two of the 3 goblins. That would still leave 1, 2, 3, and then 4 things to attack. They only have 2 blockers, and with the triple damage, that would be more than enough to deal with it. So it's not going to affect it. So here we go. We move to combat. Urboresk's Forge gets another counter. We make a 6/1. Slash deals 6 damage to them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we swing with everybody other than Slash, because everyone else is fine. So that's a 6/1, which if that gets through, it's 18 damage. So you have to block with, it's still just a 1. So you're going to block with this lifelinker. So you would gain 2. Now damage happens all at the same time, but I'm going to just like say, okay, this gets destroyed. That gets destroyed, so that's 1 attack. We have the 2/2, so we'll block with this guy. That's another 2 lifelink, and this gets destroyed. Then Super Shredder would block this 2/1. That would get destroyed because he's a 7/7. But 3 1/1s get through. But that's 3 damage times 3. That's 9. He is exactly 9 life. And that's it. That's game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boom. There you have it. Slash is our winner. I love indirect damage. It's one of my absolute favorite mechanics, and I love making decks like that. I have Arabella. I have a bunch of decks like that. So I'm very pleased whenever Slash does well. Romero has been really fun. I mean, I have played these decks in real life against friends and people, and they do pretty well. And I'm pleased with how they ended up. But Romero is fun because it's just super crazy card draw. You have to balance it out with lifelink or else you're screwed, but otherwise he gets really big really fast. Could do great commander damage, but also get you all kinds of other cards that allow you to do other things. Mikey and Donnie is absolutely, as you saw, a really great deck. It has that extra win con of like mechanized production. There's a lot of other really great cards in there that buff things up and make lots of mutagen tokens, and I would spread out the counters across a bunch of creatures. It should have been a lot more creatures than just the 2 commanders. I just wasn't hitting them fast enough. And then the weakest one is absolutely the 5-color turtles, but it's just similar to Cosmic Spider-Man. I just like the idea of having a 5-color deck with all of the turtles. So we got a bunch of the different Michelangelos and Donnies and Leos and Raphs in that deck, along with Splinter and April and Casey. And so, they're allies, Mondo Gecko. So it's not super synergized, even though, like I said before, the set is relatively synergized for +1/+1 counters and a few other aspects. It is clearly, as you saw, slower because it's 5 colors, and I just wasn't hitting any of the other creatures, which is crazy. But there you have it. I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know if you enjoyed the turtle set. I know it's Universes Beyond and there's all that bullshit, universe hate and stuff like that, but I thought the set was so much fun to play, so much fun to open packs, and lots of potentially fun, weird ways to build commanders. So let me know what you thought. Let me know if you saw some really cool cards in this game that you went, oh, I want to put that in this deck, or I want to build a deck around this commander. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.